professors in the world at that time. So for many years I was in the field of chemical engineering. I've done basic engineering, detailed chemical engineering, and it's very glad to donate some of the materials which I collected over a period of years to library, so that all of you can make use of it. Because some of these materials are, it is very difficult to have access to that. Excuse me. So, I hope you can put good use to that material. And now I'll briefly introduce Swami Gaurangapal, who is present here with us. So he is a highly qualified person. He has actually obtained a gold medal when he studied in IIT Mumbai. So he has done his 5 years course. So His Holiness Swami Bhakti Ratna Sadhu Maharaj is briefly called Gaurangapala. So he was born in Ahmedabad, 22nd November 1971, in a Gujarati Brahmin family, and he spent his childhood days in Mumbai. And right from his childhood he had a spiritual inclination, and his parents were also a reason for his spiritual upbringing. His father was very interested in performing kirtans and bhajans.
He was also chemical engineer, so UDCT.
Oh, your father?
UDCT.
UDCT Mumbai.
Yeah.
Okay. So when he was studying in IIT Mumbai, doing his 5-year integrated MSc chemistry course, he came across a set of volumes which are called Chaitanya Charitamrita, which describe about the life of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so from there, his spiritual interest picked up. And after he finished, and though he obtained a gold medal, he chose to dedicate his life, to spiritual cause. So we are lucky to have him here, and he is highly knowledgeable in the area of teaching. See, today everybody has a connection to the internet. So if you want to reach anybody, everybody has a email address. So it's easy to reach people nowadays, especially the younger generation. So he has got his own website. So I'm sure that you can all visit his website and greatly benefit from that. So he actually took his sannyas from a sage called Tridani Swami Bhakti Kumud Sant Maharaj, and so since then he has been preaching this message, and he is traveling widely and tirelessly. And so after receiving the blessings of his Diksha Guru and his Sannyas Guru, so he started traveling and preaching this message all over India. And he's also got disciples from all over the world. And so I will invite Swami Gaurangapal to enlighten all of us on this basic spiritual message. And because it's not enough that if you just become a chemical engineer, if somebody asks us, who are you? You just cannot say I'm a chemical engineer. You're somebody beyond a chemical engineer. So that type of an understanding we get from Swami Gaurangapal. So please.
Thank you, Bhaskar. On behalf of Department of Chemical Engineering, I welcome both of them for this session. I welcome all of you. Before the session starts, just I would like to give the message. Do not use tobacco in any form. Keep away from alcohol. Say no to drugs. Respect women. As there is saying in Sanskrit, Yatra naryani pujyanti tatra sthirati devata. Tatra ranti devata. Wherever a woman is respected, the God is pleasant there. On the top of that, believe in your religion, respect other religion. Never for humor's sake or for fun criticize other religion. The biggest religion in this world is humanity. It is not adequate that we become graduates or postgraduates or postdoctoral fellows. We should become educated. In the ancient days also there were Gurukulas, there were Gurus, there were disciples. And there was no an application form or a course or a practical record or an examination. Just they were asking, who is your Guru? That was a certification, whether it is archery or anything of that sort, whether it is Veda or anything of that sort. So the days have changed. It is 110 crore population in our country. It is not possible to have a Gurukula system. And also I tell you, only today, if you look at, only 18% of the population goes to the college education. I am talking about the entire population. It is not only in Hosur or Mumbai or Bangalore metropolitan. Look at the urban, semi-urban, rural, tribal, everything. Only 18% of the population goes to the college education, out of which only 5% goes to the professional course. You should be very thankful to your parents that before their sweat is dry, they have put their hard money into your education. Okay? It is not that we have brought some religious thoughts into the classroom. No. It is only humanity. And that is the biggest religion in this world. Wherever we go, we should spread this message. See that the peace and harmony in the society is protected, whatever part of the globe you are. Okay? With this small message in front of the great people today, I leave the dais to people and great saints to deliver this message. And I want to see that you are also educated and you will also spread this message to wherever you go and apply this to your life, in your career, and be happy throughout your life. Wish you all the best. Derive the best out of that. And towards the end of the session, see that any doubt of yours, never hesitate to discuss with, because they are also highly qualified postgraduates from the premier institutions of our country. Okay? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bhaskar, I think we will join here.
And before beginning today's session, I would like to chant the invocation mantra, which you can all repeat after me.
भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Thank you. So, I'm very happy to know that all of you are acquiring this important knowledge of chemical engineering in this premier institute under a premier teacher. So, also, Mr. Badri Narayan is very much keen that you also get the spiritual values in life to make you a nice balanced person. So he's invited us. So I am going to talk today about the king of all knowledge. There are many departments of knowledge in this world, like all of you know, and there is also one knowledge which is known as king of all knowledge, because that is the root, the cause of all other kinds of knowledge. Just like we wear a necklace, the pearls are on the necklace, but what is the thing which is holding the necklace?
The string.
The string below the pearl. Sutre mani gana iva. That's what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, that the knowledge about the soul and knowledge about me is the king of all knowledge. What is that verse? Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Nidamuttamam. That this is the king. Raja means the king. And Guhyam, it is very confidential because only very small percentage of the population will try to understand this knowledge. But it is Pavitram and Uttamam and the highest. And it is very relevant because the first question in this knowledge is given in the Vedanta Sutra, Athato Brahma Jigyasa. After getting this human form of life, we should all inquire the first question, who am I? Has anybody asked this question? Who am I? Till now? Please raise your hands. Somebody has inquired about this in their life. 30, you are all 20, 25, 30, 40, but we have never inquired about this question. What do you think you are? This question to you. Please feel free to tell me. What do you think you are? We are trying to achieve success in our life, make us happy. First we should know who we are, our real identity, then we can make ourselves happy. Yes.
So before anything we are just plain matter. Before anything, before having a name, before having a family, before having education,
Okay.
we are matter.
Okay.
And that matter has only been created by the Almighty.
Okay. Okay. Then I will ask you a question that when we die, then the matter is still there. I mean, the body is still there, but it is different. It is dead. So, what happened at the time of death? Simply, all the matter is still there. So, but we are not there. Because you burn the body, you bury the body. So then, how can we be only matter? If we are only matter, then the scientists, we should be able to discover some chemical reaction by which at the time of death you can inject and make us alive. Nowadays, the modern science knows all the reactions happening in the body. There is nothing unknown to us. So why can't we bring a dead body back to life if we are only matter? So the soul is not there. We are not simply a product of chemicals. There is a superior thing in our body which is actually manipulating the chemicals, which is actually bringing life to the chemicals in our body. Do you accept that, or do you have any questions regarding that? I will. Please feel free to ask any questions at any time you have, because you may not remember at the end. So we stand in front of the mirror daily and we say, this is my body, my hair, my hand, my feet, my stomach, my mind. But who are you? If you say that this is my body, it means that I cannot be the body, right? You say my book. You cannot be the book. You are different from the book. You are the possessor of that book. So, who of you says I body? Anybody says I body? What do we say? My body. So it means what? I am different from the body. I am the master of this body. I am the possessor of this body. Do you agree on this? At least basic. If you don't agree, please let me know, so that we can progress step by step. So, it is very easy to point to your eye or nose or hand, but it is very difficult to point to us. Very few people in this world have been really be able to identify themselves actually, the self. This was in Los Angeles, scientists in Los Angeles, they conducted a very detailed analysis of the human body. And at the time they found out, they distilled each and every ingredient of the body in minute quantities. And they found out that the body is basically made up of calcium, iron, phosphorus, water content, other substances, various chemicals, and plus the bone structure inside, flesh, bones, mucus, stool, like that. And they calculated the market value of all the chemicals in our body, and it came to how much, 110 rupees, and $2, $2 to $3. So like you said, if we are matter, then our value becomes only 110 rupees. Do you accept that your value is 110? And what is your value? Can anybody tell me what is your value? Nobody knows your value? Yes. More than some amount which you can't even express in words. So it is invaluable. Like
Government has a rate. Government has a rate. What is the government rate? If somebody dies, they give you compensation, right? 1 lakh.
But if the government would come and give us the money right now, we won't die. The government will offer 5 lakhs, will we die? No, because I am more valuable than 5 lakhs. Yes. I am worth crores, more than that. Our life is most dear to us, is more dear to us than all the wealth of this world. We will not exchange it for anything else. So, the basic question is that if we are simply a product of chemicals, then our value is very limited. But if we are something different than the chemicals, then actually we get the real value. That is known as a living force. So, it's very easy to understand that there is something beyond this body. And because of misidentification, because we do not know our own nature, our own self, we think that we will become happy simply by making my body happy. But we don't know how to make ourselves actually happy. That is why there is so much problems in society: corruption, mental stress, divorce, suicide, violence, rape, unemployment. Because the efforts to attain happiness and success, they are misdirected. Without knowing our real identity, we are trying to strive for success and happiness in this world. So there are so many problems. It become a rat race in human society. These are the 4 basic deformations of our body. These are the 4 problems which science is trying to address from time immemorial. What are the problems? Birth, old age, disease and death. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is saying, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. That real science should try to solve these problems. Because these are the basic problems. Who wants to die? If anyone wants to die, please raise your hands. No one wants to die. So this is the biggest problem, right, of human society. So how to solve this problem? That is the solution of the Rajvidya, the king of all knowledge. Atma Yoga. or Nama Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. This yoga gives the answer, solution to these 4 problems which cannot be solved by other means. If you see the past history around maybe 200 years, 300 years before, there were less medicines in this world, but people were more healthy. Nowadays there are so many medicines and every corner has a medicine shop, but there are more diseases. People are so sick. So yes, medicinal science is very important to society because it can elongate our life, it can make us healthy, it can save us. But ultimately it cannot help solve the problem of death. There is no medicine till now which has come out which can make us immortal. Do you think such a medicine will come out in the future? It may not come out. If somebody says, promises you, will develop that kind of medicine or chemical which will make us immortal, then you should tell him first you make a cockroach alive in the laboratory before trying it on a human being. Because false promises will not do. One should require proof for that. So death is a big problem, disease is a big problem, old age is a big problem. And according to the Bhagavad Gita in the Vedas, the birth is also a big problem. Because in our time in the womb of the mother, we are suffering constantly for 9 months. For 7 months we experience so much pain that we are unconscious. In the Bhagavatam it is said, Karmana daiva netrena jantur dehopapatyate pumso karna retashraya, that in 7 months we become inert because the womb of the mother is very small, and if the mother eats some chili we start burning, our skin is very very soft, and it's like a prison, it's a very very close prison. All of us have suffered in the mother's womb, and for the next 2 months it is described in the Bhagavatam that every soul prays to God that, my dear God, get me out of this prison and jail, and after coming out I will try to understand the knowledge, the highest of all knowledge also. Please take me out. I will try to understand you and the soul. But unfortunately after the child comes out, the child forgets the promise given to God in the womb and starts crying. You have seen any child start laughing at the time of birth? Why do you think he is not laughing? Why every child is crying? Nobody? So Badrinarayan has said that you are his brightest students.
It is because he breathes. It is because he breathes as soon as he comes up. He needs to breathe. He has some internal air which is completely stuck in his lungs. So he needs to throw that air out.
Right.
And also at the same time there is also water from the mother's womb. That also has to come out, unless because it comes out he cannot breathe.
Right.
So that's why he cries and he tries to take out as much amount of the pain as possible.
Yes. Right. So basically he is crying because of the shock, because of the pain he has suffered in the mother's womb. So that is what Krishna is saying, that Janma is also a big problem. It's very painful. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, disease, and old age. Nobody wants to get old. When we see ourselves becoming old in front of the mirror, it is so shocking to us. We can't take it. So I'll ask you this question. Why do we don't want to die? And why do we don't want to get old? And why don't we want disease? Why don't we want pain? Can you tell me any answer to this? These are the questions which are also very required for the human form of life. that we should think that why do I don't want to die? Why that fear from death is inbuilt in me? Do you have any answer for that? The answer is very easy if you understand the spiritual knowledge that the fear to die is arising because it is an illusory fear. Because actually we never die. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying, "Na hanyate hanyamane sharire vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grinati naro parani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi." So very scientific knowledge. Just like in the morning we change our clothes, we dirty ones we keep it for washing and we take the new ones. Similarly, at the time of death, we actually change bodies. From one body we go to another body. It is not, we are not actually dying, it is the body is dying, because anyway the body is dead matter. Like we saw, without the soul the body is dead, and at the time of death we say he has passed away, he is gone away. Let us cremate the body, let us burn the body. So who has gone away? Have you ever thought? Like you answered, the soul. The soul has gone away. So without accepting the soul, the science is incomplete. Just manipulating the matter, understanding the matter is very important. It will give us material success. And it will help us in our life. But to understand the Kshetragya, the soul who is present in this body, because of that the body is running. I'll give you an example of sunrise and the sun. The sun is situated in one place, but the sunrise is, all pervading. It is even entering here. When I see sunlight here, I can see, oh, there must be a sun there. Sunlight is a symptom of the sun. Similarly, the consciousness in the body, we have consciousness, right? So, consciousness is the symptom that the soul is inside the body. Because consciousness cannot be just a product of matter. If the consciousness is a product of matter, then why is the consciousness not revived after death? The consciousness has to be because of some higher spiritual force which is there in the body. Dr. Bigelow in Canada, he was a heart surgeon, and many operations his patients would die. Unfortunately, he would try to save them, but he would find that something would leave the heart at the time of death. After which he could not do anything. He could do his best, but after that thing would leave, he could not do anything. Recently there has been a news in the paper that a dead, almost dying man, they covered in a vacuum, glass, total vacuum box. I don't know if you have read this. And at the time of death, actually the glass broke. Some higher force actually left the body at the time of death. I.N. Stevenson has recorded 3,000, 4,000 cases of life after death. He travelled all over the world, and children are telling about what they were in their previous, and they are taking people around. Recently in Aaj Tak, we had the news of a person telling how he was shot in his previous life. He took people there to that, you must have seen the television. So things are coming to light nowadays which science cannot explain. There is becoming a certain limit where our logic and our speculation can go. So higher to that, we have to understand knowledge from a superior source. There are three ways to understand knowledge according to the Vedas. There are three ways of understanding knowledge. First is pratyaksha. Pratyaksha is direct perception. I look at the sun and I accept it as the sun. Whatever I see, I accept it based on my perception. But unfortunately, our sense of perception is limited. Our ears can only hear between 20 to 20,000 hertz. I can see the sun, but according to my perception, the sun is only like a ball, size of the ball. So if I just believe my perception, then I will accept the sun only like a ball. But we know that the sun is not a ball, so my eyes are cheating me. It's limited. If the lights would go out in the night, then we can't even see our own hands, our own eyebrows we can't see. So, the pratyaksha, the way to get knowledge is a good way to get knowledge, but it has limitations beyond which we have to accept an higher way of getting knowledge. So people try the second method, that is known as anuman, judgment or speculation. Like how in the science astronomy they calculate the distances between the planets.